Mixwell, so we got a lot to digest, but unfortunately, we don't have much time. We're going straight into the match.
That's it, barrier's already up, and it looks like Heretics are up inside of their attacker spawn, almost. They've gone straight up on B long with a double push. Got the knife early to keep them back, but EG looking to take control elsewhere, making their way on in through the double doors already, taking one of those tripwires out, and getting rid of those. Obviously, it's a fair trade. When you're only removing your Prowler, it's going to mean Mixwell has to hold that angle for the rest of the round.
That's the thing. Even just the doubt that that is thrown in alone will be enough to cause some issues for Heretics. But with how deep control they already have, this could be a nasty surprise. Now, Zeke is already just looking to try and take some contact. Basically, allow his teammates to be that nasty surprise. Knife through should get the information. Kellogg is up top. It's a bit of an awkward fight. And in fact, overall, it came out on top for EG.
Well, although Ethan goes down in the end, like with the damage done, calm and jug ammo, it's not great. It really isn't. Like, they're in a position now where these pistols on the other side can take them down so easily. They're going to have to rely on Boostio doing a lot of work on his way back through. They know that he can be on this angle. Mixwell not able to do too much with the near sight, but his teammates are on the way to help. There it is, though.
Already turning things back into an advantageous position. Turret down, and Jorgamo trying to just find a little bit more here as the defenders are struggling to get their way back through. Not a lot of utility to play with here as they look to try and connect any sort of shots, but they are shutting it down. Boo will at least be able to get one, but EG are there with the start.
That's what they needed, kicking it off with an early uprooted on the back of Ethan, grabbing a quick double. Not necessarily because of the Yoru or anything. He ran through the smoke, didn't expect there to be two players on his left. And he had a pretty easy time cleaning those up afterwards. Certainly not the usual round, but you can see exactly what we were saying. Like the fact that Heretics were there so early on in the round, you just don't expect a double stack like that. This time though, they didn't get anything for their trouble.
I'm likely having a great time.
That they do. As we see the barriers go up yet again, it looks like this should be an even easier time for them. Just a couple of pistols on the other side, classics all around, and that one Marshall for Kellogg's.
He is nasty with it.
He is. He's got to be hitting the headshots. Obviously, everyone on the other side is coming in here with shields, and they're not looking to give any long-range fights over. I mean, they know there's probably a Marshall there. It's certainly not worth risking a wide swing into it.
But the thing is, and this is the main sort of point I want to look at with these two teams, EG are like a rising roster who've added in a bit of experience, a team that we kind of expect to perform well. Maybe in the future, we don't know what to expect right now. Heretics are the opposite. They're a team that's had a lot of success in the past. We don't know if they're going to be good now because a lot of those players haven't had that consistent form in a while. So I'm looking at players like Kellogg's. Is he going to be as good as he has been, say, back in Berlin? Is that going to be possible? Then you look on the other side of Jorgamo, is he going to bring it on the stage? So there's a lot of questions to be answered. As you said, Mitch, in this round, not so much. You expect EG to take this one comfortably, and even 2 kills here would be fine for Heretics.
Yeah, again, when it comes to these fights, especially with Kellogg's being on the A side now, you really can't expect much from them. You got a player trapped inside the elbow, so a nice little stylish move. They get 1 kill for their trouble on Heretics. It's not too bad. Second follows. Anything from this point is a little devastating, and there it is. Kellogg's following up. Everyone else was 150, so a headshot needed, but with 3 kills in a round like that with 4 classics, that is a big win. Consistent to just see this harassment from the Fade utility so that Boo can never maintain that control. He's got to be very fluid with where those traps are going, and it's not a problem that EG will face on their defense because they have 2 Sentinels. It's not like Fade can just cancel out all of your info if you're playing a similar comp. If anything, you can make that a transactional trade for the Prowlers. So I think the EG's defense is it's going to be a lot easier. At least they have a lot more tools to work with. All right, there you go. Yet again, we've just seen that trap wire destroyed. Yeah. It's just going to be consistent. If you keep putting it there, that Prowler will be put in to trade it out.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to have to be moved over the next round or so from Boo. Now he's got his cam up, just watching for anybody making the push. I feel like they might have heard the cam, so I'm just trying to get as much space as possible without losing too much. And already, a rotation coming back through to try and give them that little bit of extra support on this side of the map.
Like right now, they're going in. I mean, the fact that you've got 2 players this close already, it's dangerous. Team Heretics able to get the jump on them. And now with that spike planted, I mean, Look, EG can play their positions, but it's all down to timing here for Common. Look at that. The second he moves, Kellogg's rounds the corner and somehow walks out with the second. This is now incredibly difficult for Boostio. Some players tagged up, but he has to hit every single shot. It was close. A nice attempt, but Zeke survived the initial barrage of bullets. They'll find their first, only barely.
Yeah, the thing is, though, you have to bear in mind that that was an investment coming out of the side from EG. So although they managed to make that one look close, they're not in a position where they can really buy up and online, which might be able to help them. Like, for example, with that Stinger and the Dimensional Drift, that could work out. But it's definitely going to be tougher. Either way, on the other side of things, a Blade Storm, still a couple of guns saved that they can sort of juggle around. But both teams are going to come in with a buy here, just neither of them are particularly strong.
Yeah, there's weaknesses across the board. I'm curious about Ethan, though. He's got his ultimate online right now, has a Stinger to play with. Whether it's going to be an information play or some TikTok Yoru, I'm not sure. One thing I can say for sure is Team Heretics early round, they're looking at the other side of the map. We've seen their B aggression, but this time taking some early A control, spotting that out, and we could see some early rotations to this B site, traps in new positions, and that's going to be something that they have to contend with on their way in. Ethan already making quite a bit of space, catching a fair bit of information, and you can see he's just scouting it out, acting as a recon dart, but here he makes a decision. Does he go back, or is he committing to it? And it's a full commitment out of Ethan! He's caught Zeke completely off guard! Now the site's under threat. There's enemies all around. They need to clear out a safe haven for themselves. The decoy almost catching them, and now they realize, okay, we've got control, but look how much time that bought.
Yeah, that's the thing. Ethan was so low on HP, he's just decided to leave. Kellogg's, though, has already caught the close man. They're going to try and find if there's anybody else lurking around the backlines, and Boo with the spam has found another. In behind them is Ethan. He's managed to sneak his way through, but Kellogg's has found his third in the round. Just one left standing. VCJ trying to hold it down. The time, though, has the time actually gone already? I think it might have done. It's going to be incredibly close, and they win it anyway. Even with that many players, 4 still standing before the spike goes off.
On it. The player still alive wins by 0.68 of a second. And Ethan here, he's got his decoy down, right? So even after the TP noise is heard, it could have been a fake. That cost them precious seconds that end up costing them the round. Just a gorgeous play by EG from start to finish. And a Stinger and an ultimate, that's all this man needed.
Still, though, you look at the purchases in this one, and it's actually in favor of Heretics. Being able to save those 3 guns through, it's going to be another Stinger for Ethan. They managed to make it work in the last round, but Kellogg's, he is flying at the moment. That was the main question I had. If Kellogg's is on, they win this game. If Kellogg's is off, they don't stand a chance. Those are the sort of 2 sides to this Heretics roster at the moment. Right now, he is on. Even though they lost that last round, he managed to get 3 kills with that Blade Storm.
It's a good sign. It absolutely is, and starting this one off well. Look, they've got their 2-man advantage. There's no need to panic. Camera watching over to double doors, trap for B long. Just a ton of control to play with. And like we said, one of the main problems here is if EG are dealing with that Sentinel utility, but in this round they haven't just yet. And this is leaving them in a position where they're running into a stack.
Again, just instant trade from Kellogg's. They're going to eventually find out this piece of utility is still sat around. Trying to work out if there's a way to get around it without actually tripping it, and the answer is no. They're going to walk straight in. 30 seconds, stun through from the other side as Mixor looks to try and pincer in. He'll find that first. BCJ was in astral form, and he will fall as well. A second round on the board for Heretics, and this is going to...
some big mistakes from the defenders.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Oh, that could be a difference maker, though. We're setting up for a Jet updraft play, biding his time at the start as well, and now here he comes. I love the idea of changing the timing, but shot didn't land.
I think they were ready for it as well. I think Kellogg's was spotting. It was just that Avova almost gets caught by it anyway, so they had the right idea. This is all they really have in this round. Lockdown, I don't think you're going to use that unless you get a couple of kills. Maybe you can get towards the Nightfall, but these are all ifs and buts, whereas on the other side you have a full purchase. They've also started to switch things up. You mentioned that trip was being constantly broken. Since that's happened, they've started moving Mixo into that exact spot to try and deny the pressure from there, and they've moved where they put the wires. So an initial read from EG was solid. Now they have to deal with what's next.
And look, they're trying to clear this out and figure out how it was being held. Now realizing that the trap had been moved, they blitz into the site. There's still players here, but Kellogg's decides to leave. A quick kill though, BCJ caught, playing a little slower through.
Really?
Oh, Boostio with a classic in hand. Kellogg's though, going nuclear on the site with a double. That shut down any chance of these pistols making it costly. Only one man falls.
I'm actually still quite surprised though that they use clean and build up their own economy. It's not an awful usage, I just don't think they really needed it.
Yeah, to be honest though, just looking at where their economy is, this feels like it's just that cyclical nature of the ultimates. They don't want to have that in the back pocket and risk pistols getting value. That first kill comes in and they say, screw it, we're popping it in, we're grabbing this round, and I'll have my ult back online in not too long. Kellogg's right now, by the way, 12-2.
I missed him on a stage. Like, this is the thing. It's like, people will see his online performances and be like, oh, he's fallen off. He was always best when he made it to a LAN stage. And you're seeing it right now. He is just, the confidence this man has is maybe a little bit too much sometimes.
Well, I mean, he made it out of there, 5 HP, but he's still got some health to work with. Not going to be too easy. You know, the games we saw yesterday, Tom, we had a lot of healing abilities in there. Not a luxury that Kellogg's has on his team. So he is going to remain one shot to absolutely anything. And this team seems to be gradually shifting towards him. They've left the spike behind, though. They haven't made their mind up yet. This might sell it, though. A quick double, and the 5 HP Kellogg's is the last man standing on B.
Well, that's not going to make much of a difference. Down to 1. Shot not connected and really starting to come under pressure. They know exactly where he is, and he's starting to be pushed from behind. He's dead. No chance of survival in that scenario. The rotation has finally come through from the rest of the team, but EG have done well to pick this defense apart. Boo is hoping he can maybe make a little bit of space for Avova. The spike is still only just rotating in, so it's not like the clock is against them just yet, and Avova has managed to sneak his way through.
Oh, well, Ethan had spotted that evidently. And with that, the round is closed out quickly. I gotta say, you know, the Nightfall there as well. Ethan is so terrifying. If you're both sides, they're having to dig deep into their economy just to get the rifles out. Look at it, so close. Just tapping the ankles on his way up. If that was Namor, he'd be gone.
Yeah, the thing is, I do feel like if Heretics do that flash like the second before, they probably catch everyone. It's just that EG basically realized where the space was now after the trip was moved and just walked through. Because the fact, I don't even think they used a Prowler there. I don't think they used anything. And they just walked it. That's why nobody was really checking in that direction just yet.
Again, realizing that setup's going to constantly change. We've seen them be so slow in the map control as well. Like, they're shifting up when they're taking those positions, especially Art. Remember just the previous round when they walked up really slowly and they're spotting the trap Art. They're not just blitzing in and forgetting about that piece of utility. Now, this camera here, we've seen it many a time.
Yeah.
And the information that it is garnering right now, as we said, this is covering double doors, but it's also allowing him to hold the B long position.
I remember Artis using this one.
Quite a bit. And then you have that trap there as well, and obviously you can just allow them to come in, maybe even the Yoru making a play, and you're going to catch him off. But look at where this teleport has gone.
Oh, dear.
It's actually ridiculous. He's behind them on A right now. The lineup is perfect. Ethan,
it doesn't matter though. Kellogg's is just killing everyone. They're trying to bypass him and he just gets 4 kills. What is happening? He's just decimating at the moment. And now Ethan, as you said, he was lining up. He was getting in behind them. But it doesn't matter. All of his team are dead. He now needs to ace.
They were banking on his flank so much. The ultimate after the TP was right behind them. But instead of that flank coming through, you had this sneaky aggressive push on A main, completely catching them off.
Thing. It wasn't sneaky. They spotted him. They saw him in the corner. He fake updrafted away and then just stayed, peeked out, and killed everyone. This was the least sneaky play I've ever seen in my life. And Kellogg's comes out with 4 kills.
You look at it, you think the point of that round, the key play has to be Ethan, the Yoru, the amazing setup that they've got. And for one guy to just destroy your game plan like that, there is no way to account for Kellogg's. We talked to this man before we started here, and he said, you know, I'm going to try to reach that same form as I had last time I was on LAN, and my God, he has succeeded and then some. And we're only 8 rounds in.
He's on 16 kills. No one's played this well so far. No one's even come close. Already getting 17. The entry in another round.
Just ridiculous. And at this point, you know, the early game plan has to be just sending him out to grab that opening duel.
Why not?
You're trolling. If you're not, the consistency's ridiculous. Now, EG will eventually shut that down, you'd think.
You hope.
We'll have to see. 2 trap wires sitting on this B site, but there's no one from Heretics. Despite being in a 5 versus 4, right, that they have decided to play full retake. It's a wise choice.
Yeah, they've got Cosmic Divide. They're also going to have null command. All of that utility becomes useless, and they can block off any afterplants with the walls. So this is something that EG are going to have to read into. Now, they're going to keep Ethan here aggressively. He's done this a couple of times now, where he's able to just exit, but the rest of the team are now sticking around with him, knowing that they're going to be forced back by the Cosmic Divide, so they have to play more aggressive.
Well, this retake's starting to run out of time. They've got to get it started eventually, and on the way through, Zeke good to pick it up, but it's Jet in the corner. Could be the point man for this round, catching them off. The spray's good, but the damage isn't there in the end. A right click to bring it down to 1 enemy left. Mixwell, the father of Valorant, now has to close this out. And let's see if he can find it. The dash, it's quick, and he's just playing the clock here. It might again come down to the time. I don't think he's got it.
Yeah, he's not got it. It's the second time. And this round is fantastic from EG. This is a round where they've looked at the ultimates on the other side. Witness how they played every single afterplant on this B site up till this can't sit back, otherwise we lose the round. So they get aggressive. They get in the faces of their opponents. You can see they were caught off guard by the multiple different angles. Fantastic adaptation from EG, and they've got the lead back.
Team Heretics not happy with that result, and they've called a timeout. Take a moment to gather themselves.
Be in the right place at the right time. Early pressure seemingly coming in. He's getting so many kills and orbs that he's got this dimensional drift again. We've seen it so many times already. Straight past the trap he goes into the A side, just taking all of the space. And it almost seems like at this point, they're just opting to try and play the retake. Not even wanting to go anywhere near it. The flash is solid though. Even still, it's going to be an even trade.
That was a really nice flash that he used initially to push Avova into the smoke to gain that space again. Just his space-taking ability undeniably strong right now, but this Heretics play back into A looks unreal. A lockdown in play, 6 seconds left on it. In comes the nade to try and destroy it, and it looks like it's just about missed. They're going to be stuck inside of it. The timer's gone. They've just about made it out, but now the clock runs way down. They might have another star to play with here. BCJ needs to try and deny it. The spray down not good enough, and no utility remaining. This round goes to Heretics. It looked like EG might have had a fighting chance, though.
Yeah, I think at this point, that was the right call. Like every single time we've seen the execution.
They haven't been going for anything that's going to give an easy pick to Kellogg's. That's not to say he won't find one in the late round, but to start with, it's going to be a slow one. Feeling out the map and finding that utility again.
Zeke, looks like he might be against an early fight. Look, Jorgamo again, he knows where the space is. He knows where they've been having issues dealing with their prowlers, but he's not going to win the duel. Calm, quick on the trade, however. However, again, it's instantly back. Well done from Heretics to keep that one in control. And you mentioned the man of the moment. He's got another kill on the board.
And potentially another with BCJ sad here. That spike was spotted moments ago. He saw Kellogg's run back, but still committing to this position. I mean, you got to rely on Boostio. He hasn't found that kill, and now he knows there's going to be an op trained in on him. This is a tough fight to win, and with BCJ going down, the chances turn to 0. 6-6 at the halftime mark. We are neck and neck.
I'm going to be honest, most of the time, hot trash. So
Yes.
I hope they have some ideas.
Yeah, it was a good first half, but now this is where the challenge comes in. Flash used as a support for his teammates, and they're actually double peeking around, effectively turning this into a 2-lane fight, double peeking them down and leaving EG in a 4 versus 3 versus 1. It shouldn't be possible for Boo, but a few well-placed headshots, and those odds could quickly turn into his favor.
He's got time. That's the only real thing on his side at this point.
There's a firing squad waiting on the other side, though, and the spike down.
Yeah. I think he's more wary of somebody coming in on the flank, but he still has his cam available if he wants to use it to try and find out the pieces of information. There's also the turret on short towards Art, so he's not going to be able to get too much information going in that direction either. And now with all 3 players from EG set up, stacked up, ready to trade, he has to do something crazy.
I'd love a comparison of him and Kellogg's in this scenario. Kellogg's would have already swung them and just tried to headshot, probably would have headshot them all. Boo goes back, gets his camera, gets his utility. He waits for it to be back online so he can spot them, figure out where they are. Okay, didn't get him a ton of information, but it's worth using.
There.
Maybe they went back to A site at this point, right? So it's worth putting down. He's given himself every advantage. This is a Cypher clutch. Unfortunately, there's 3 players holding the angle, so he's going to die. But, you know, I love watching him try.
Like, you could tell he's a smart player.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
I don't think it would be a smart player that wins that
No,
card.
no. He's like a world-class pilot on a sinking ship. It's not much use, really.
Yeah. But either way, another pistol under EG's belt. They've started both of these strong, perfect read though. Like having that initial setup, the flash on one side. You have to take map control. You have to pressure, because if you're left defending, sat back, you have basically no utility that's going to help you.
That is true, you know, for EG at this point. The one thing I'm looking at, though, is their utility versus Heretics, right? The control that they can keep playing this Killjoy. When they initially locked it in, they had a Cypher on their roster as well. That would have been wild to start on attack, but luckily, that wasn't the real comp. Here we go. Good damage by Ethan. He's down to a pistol. What? 3 kills!
He's playing a Frenzy and a Stinger. That shouldn't be allowed. There should be a rule that you're only allowed to have one of those guns at a time.
It's actually sickening. He runs out of ammo after doing 150. Sit back and say, oh, how much damage can they get done on Heretics? And the answer is no. Yeah, I mean, it's just basically flawless on the way. And even with Ethan, he's gone into a Bulldog here, and I fear what he's going to do with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. This round, they've managed to keep things pretty clean over the last couple. It's nice to see that obviously we've got the Brazilian games coming up after this, but the arena's already starting to pack out. I'm enjoying it. They're enjoying what Valorant we've got to offer so far, but I'm sure it's only going to get louder as the day goes on.
No pun
But they're given a good match so far.
That they have. But it's not over yet. Remember, this was EG's map pick.
I'm also just remembering yesterday. Yeah. Started good, went downhill.
EG choosing this map, now being on defense with a comp that, I'm going to be honest, not many people have probably prepped against this comp. It's not something that you're going to be very used to what your opponents are trying to do on the other side. In fact, a lot of this game might be just figuring out what ideas they have, just like we've been trying to do. It's a challenge, certainly, and, you know, it's a challenge for us. They don't have X-Ray. At least I hope they don't. That'll make a big difference. Already, opening pick going to Heretics. Now remember, weaker weapons here, and I think that was a Spectre that was dropped.
Yeah, just trying to get that little bit of extra space. Com in the right position at the right time. He's tagged desperately low, but in fact, the pressure's coming in from behind. BCJ's managed to catch another one. Now diminishing any advantage that was there, but Kellogg's lurking through the back lines. This should be for free. An easy kill to turn it back into a 3v3 scenario. Com still in an aggressive spot. He finds another, drops the spike on the ground, and now they have the pincer, have them surrounded. It's all onto Kellogg's, and even he can't win this round. What a play from Com.
Unbelievable. Don't do this to me. Don't play with my heart. I'm looking at the stage right now. He's in astral form. He's not got a ton of time to sell that. I hope he's not going to dominate if he's going to play it.
He can wallbang art. I've seen a couple of people do that.
Stop it, VCT, what are you planning, my man? Let's have a look. Okay. I've never seen a man play that position with an Odin. He's just ready to go. And in this spot, oh, it's dangerous. You can wallbang this with a Phantom. When you're talking about an Odin, it's like he's out in the open. He's just going to be dealing so much damage on the way through.
I really love the idea, though. The Kellogg's like somehow gets into the site, kills him, and then picks that up. That would be my favorite thing if this happened this round. But
I'm gonna be honest. I would almost bet everything I own that Kellogg's would not pick it up. Even with the Sheriff, I think he would just roll with the Sheriff.
He's like, hey, Mixo, you want to come?
Yeah, it's not his kind of weapon, you know. He likes to be quick on his feet and tap heads. That's not the Odin. No. That's crouch in a corner and just pray for your life.
That's my main worry as well going into this half, is that he now needs to be the tip of the spear. And unless you're having the greatest game of all time, dashing into sites and getting 4 kills, not really possible.
Yeah, it's a little different for Ethan with the way he's able to set himself up and the utility he's got, the barrage of players that come with him, and alternating angles.
It was still impressive when he was doing it on the Yoru, so
it
that's
was,
the thing.
Absolutely. But then, yeah, when it comes to Kellogg's, it's much more one-dimensional. You got to dash forward. You can't just appear in their spawn. And let's see what he can do here. Great flash by Ethan. What a setup. 2 kills for his trouble. Down goes a Nano to delay a little longer, and there's only 20 seconds left on that clock. They have got to get going now. That first duel doesn't go too bad,
What?
nor does the second. They're back in control.
Oh, the spam's gonna get rid of him though.
10 seconds.
It actually comes out from BCJ. That Odin has actually worked out for them. Trying to get that plant again. Boo just needs to defend. Mixor will be able to get it down. Somehow turning it 2v2.
He's dodged the flash. There's the wallbang from BCJ's in astral form. Weapon out, not on time. Boo has a chance. Headshot needed, and it's delivered. Boo! He saved the round for Heretics. They're
The
not
site
out.
is currently spread with nanoswarms, and they just entry in. Then you even have the fact that the Odin manages to find a couple of kills as well. Ridiculous. And Boo, someone who's been relatively quiet so far on the Sentinel,
45
just trounces
HP.
them at the end.
45 HP. That Odin is run spraying the corner. He's dead. Of course, like, you don't know he's that HP. There's a lot of math that has to be done on the spot, and you're focused on a bunch of different things, but that has got to be devastating. All right, Rolling Thunder. They're not messing around here. Straight into the side.
Oh,
And
it's
Kellogg's,
gorgeous.
he has just embarrassed BCJ, but he had plenty of friends here to help him out, and look at the spot. What a flash.
Oh, poke flashes this round have been fantastic. Boostio, he's only going to be able to drop the KO to the floor. They haven't managed to get him back up yet, and in fact, another pick coming through. This is actually a 2v2 for a second. Eventually, that res is found, and the Astral utility will help them out.
Coming in on that Cosmic Divide's just left them in such a bad spot. No flashes for Ethan. Getting back in here is going to be tough. They're basically just strangle holding this side. And any attempt made here is denied. EG don't even make it past that ultimate. And just like that, a 2v2 retake isn't even attempted. With Heretics surviving after getting that extra player, we're in such a lovely spot.
See, I don't know. Obviously, Zeke's second flash was sick. I don't know if the first flash was his as well. But not only did they have the Rolling Thunder into the backlines, which makes me think it probably was his flash because Mixwell was around the corner doing the Rolling Thunder, but there was a flash into that back corner that meant BCJ was not only stunned up, but the last couple of rounds have been anything but.
Kellogg's finished the last half, 20 kills and 6 deaths on the board. He's got 22.
That's the flash. The flash went off just behind it.
Gorgeous.
A million other times where he gets stunned by the ult and flash,
Yeah.
and he's just stood in the side completely blind. He's like, thanks, guys.
Okay, good opening pick. There's Kellogg's gone again, and we're talking about this guy being first man in, how he's going to be that sacrificial lamb, and this time he's traded his life for a bit of mid-control.
Yeah, the thing is, the purchase here, again, it's not amazing for EG, but they have invested into that operator. Jorgamo, there we go. Jorgamo even having his Blade Storm online, so be able to double up. Now, Mixor has spotted out BCJ. They're able to isolate him in the last round, but this time it might be a little bit more tricky. He does have support, although Jorgamo's peak is caught by Zeke.
He's going to have a Nightfall at least. He's caught 2 of them in Art and 1 further outside. I mean, at this point, your best bet to swing to the other side is even going to be canceled out by a probable rotation. You've got a 4 versus 4 right now, and you can see with Killjoy utility on B, they're still going to stack up that second player. If anything, for Heretics, just delaying this has ended up with a slightly easier A-take.
And the thing is as well, they have plenty of utility still to deal with BCJ. They know exactly where he is, stunned into the corner. I think they still have an aftershock as well, so he's going to be somewhat stuck in the mud. I don't think it's going to connect him. He's still just sat there. I don't know if they're going to expect it anymore. The flash is fantastic as well, and the swing comes out from the SMGs. Just a tiny gap behind the aftershock, and EG steal the round.
Having someone like Mixwell on a breach, problem is you miss that utility, you're in a ton of trouble.
Such
and
a tiny
it's enough for one player to sit taken down, but that's all it comes down to, and it cost them the round this time at such a crucial moment as well. 10-8 now on the board, and the Heretics are on their last legs economically.
It's been a tougher second half for Kellogg's. This is the thing, a lot of the time he's either full speed ahead or he's completely missing. Those are the two sides to this man. There's very little in between. He has managed to get the space this time. Let's see if he can manage to find the opener flash through. Is he actually going to go in here? I think he might just have to hesitate a little bit as the rest of the team is still sort of pushing those rotations. I'm also looking at Ethan's deep control. He can very easily TP back into the site if needed. but he might just catch someone off guard.
You know, it's especially the turret. The turret here is just giving it away. They are looking as if they're retake B. They've got a Killjoy on site and a turret watching for a long push, but instead it's Ethan watching long. Boo's caught completely off guard. Boostio's able to grab 1, 2, and now took in for a little more. Ethan's eventually going to deal with Avova, and this is now looking done and dusted. Kellogg's has to do it all with that Blade Storm, and nothing will be found. 11-8, and that was Team Heretics putting all their credits into a round.
And as you said, a nasty little setup to almost bait them into believing some of those spots were clear. Boostio playing fantastically around his own utility as well, just to give him those little edges when it comes to taking the fights on the angles and giving that extra space over to Ethan, who is having a worldie of a game. By the way, he is one...
EG have a different idea. They're actually getting aggressive themselves, and it looks like Heretics have spread out for a default. Whether it's going to be a late round execute to try and get Kellogg's in there, I don't know. But what will happen if they do decide to go to A is they'll have a lot of problems. There's 3 players sitting here, and again, we've seen the same setup from EG in the pistol round. Yoru Flash as a support, and then the other 2 players are peeking down, essentially turning this into 2 lane ways for them.
This is similar to the pistol round, where they just have a perfect setup on EG to just basically pop a flash and leave the players on the other side completely screwed, and they are walking directly into this trap. EG couldn't be more prepared.
This was the idea from Heretics. They thought it at the start, called it off for a retake play, and now so much value has to be found by these attackers, and they're not expecting another player. There's the flash.
Beautiful.
And a decimation on A long, just shutting down any hope for Heretics here. Boo was lurking. Now he's the last man standing in a 1v4, Stinger in hand. He's managed to sneak by them, but BCJ, well, I think he should be aware that timing could have gotten them, but they're not accounting for it just yet. No one's watching the angle. Oh, no, Boo! You know, the Stinger, it's not what it used to be. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. No, that's what that was.
Oh, here we go. Okay, good, from the other perspective at least.
No,
that's the first bit.
This is early. It's coming. It's coming.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Wait, they didn't show it. Replay guys are being nice.
can only
show everything bad.
5 whiffs a day. If there's a 6th one, you're going on stream.
Oh, this is followed.
Ah!
Kellogg's is completely blind, but I guess it doesn't matter. So was Jorgamo on the other side. Nice shot from Ethan. He hasn't been missing too many. Now Com is the snake in the grass. Sat back, but things have slowed down. There's not really a reason for Heretics to continue to push this. They found a Rolling Thunder with the ult orb for Mixwell, and they already have a man advantage.
Yeah, I gotta respect Kellogg's, man. He just doesn't stop. He went forward, got hit by every piece of utility. Even when he got flashed again, he went, I'll just dash forward. And then tried to kill the guy after. He was already dead. And he wasn't happy with that. He was like, oh, guys, I was blind during all that fight. I'm just gonna peek the site. I'll look for a little bit more. In the end, it's not left them in a terrible position. If they can deal with Calm, this round is almost locked in. I see BCJ slowly shifting back over here, but if Calm goes out for this peak, he better be hitting everything. Only a couple seconds left for him to go forward or backwards, and it looks like he's gonna call the retreat.
That's the thing, backwards might actually be worse, depending where that Rolling Thunder is placed. I can only assume that's gonna go through in a second or 2.
No?
Already, the knife is gonna give them a little bit of extra information. BCJ though, just with a spam through the smoke, has managed to take out 2. The wall back not doing anything. Zeke has found that frag instead. Back into a 2v2 we go. Com has managed to hold onto some ground. He's pressuring onto Zeke. The spike plant will come through, and there's a flank. Boostio in behind.
This might not be expected. So many angles to consider at this point. They know where Calm is, or was at least. Starting to move out. Now here's what I like. They're taking their own control, and that set them up nicely, actually, for avoiding this Killjoy ult. They don't need to worry too much about it. Sure, Zeke might be in a tough position, but Avova, he might even catch them on the way through. It's the timing. It's absolutely everything here. It comes down to just 1 man left, and he's being detained.
No!
Zeke!
Don't do it!
He's been caught out!
No! Oh, he was so convinced that his teammate would be able to survive. The defuse gonna go through.